Hi everybody, welcome back, and if this is your first time, welcome. My name's Max Haddad, and today we're going to talk about the police. Now, why should you care what I think about the police? I spent a lot of time in jail, a year in prison. I've been arrested 4 or 5 times. So it's like, duh, he's got a negative opinion about the police. Well, A, it's not that simple. And B, I think what a criminal thinks about the police is important. The interactions that a potential criminal, whether they're just being taken to jail and have yet to be proven guilty, or have been sentenced and are heading to prison and are being escorted by the police, is important. And their opinion of the police is important because how they feel about authority has a huge impact on how willing they're going to be to stop committing crime, to actually redeem themselves, to recover from whatever dysfunctional core beliefs and thoughts are causing them, or mental illnesses are causing them to commit these crimes. Even if it's as simple as, I hate the man's trying to get me down, which is a real belief that people have. They feel that authority is out to get them. So somebody like myself, I was lucky to be born into a family where I understood that I was taught rather, that someone might react to me aggressively, negatively, violently even, because of something I've done, but that it didn't necessarily mean what I had done to provoke them justified their reaction, right? So what am I talking about? I commit a crime because I'm a drug addict, which it's not up to me. It's a fact. It's a disease. It's a mental illness. It's been diagnosed. It's in the DSM. It has been for a while. It's a mental illness. I'm a crazy person. And I say that tongue in cheek. And I commit a crime because of it. I buy drugs. I possess drugs. I bought them and now I'm possessing them. And I get arrested for it. And the cops treat me like shit, right? They think I'm an idiot. They treat me like one. They think I am a junkie. They treat me like one. They think I must be an asshole, so they're going to be an asshole to me first, whatever it is. I didn't ever believe that the way they were treating me had to do with me. I knew that it had to do with the way they viewed criminals and the way that they viewed addiction. It wasn't because Max is bad, right? But not everyone is so blessed with good parenting, right? And it's not even good or bad parenting. It's like my parents had never been bullied by the police. I mean, my dad is an immigrant. He moved here when he was 17 from the Middle East, and he didn't have any awful experiences with the police. So I was never told, like, watch out for cops. So I just viewed them like anybody else, right? Like if somebody gets grumpy with you, gets mad at you, whatever, even if they're telling you it's your fault because of this, they could have just been having a bad day or whatever. So I was able to separate myself from the way that the police treated me. So I don't know that it's had a huge impact on my ability to recover from addiction, to get sober and stay that way and to not go back to prison. But I know, talking with lots of friends that I've made while I was incarcerated, and we've all gotten out, some of them are struggling. And it's because they feel that if they get sober, they might as well become a cop. And when they say cop, it comes out of their mouth with venom. Cop, pig, bankin', oink, oink. They hate them. And some of it is misguided, but some of it, a lot of it, probably the majority of it, is because of the way they were treated by the police. Now, it's not just police officers' jobs to arrest people that have broken the law. It's also their job to protect people who are abiding by the law, right? So it's not like a criminal's opinion of the police is the only one that matters. That's not at all what I'm saying, because it's not true. How everyone feels about the cops is important. You know, we want to feel protected. We want to feel that we can trust them, that if you know, our kid finds a sack of weed on the ground and goes up to a cop and says, I found this, the cop's going to say, oh, thank you for reporting this to me. Give me that, you know, is not going to just arrest our kids. Because there are some places My town being one of them, if a 6-year-old stumbles into a little doobie on the ground, picks it up, walks up to a cop and says, "What is this?" He's going to prison. That little kid is going to juvie. He's getting arrested. I don't care where you found it. Drugs are the devil. That's happening. So we want to feel safe with the cops. It's not all about whether you've committed a crime or not. But I think if we expect criminals to stop committing crime, right? We punish them, but we also want to rehabilitate them. We send them to prison. We send them just to jail, whatever it is, with some mandatory therapy afterwards, whatever. We expect them to get better. Then I think we should also expect of ourselves to do everything we can to not get in the criminal's way to recovery. In cops acting like the stereotype, the pig, the oink oink, the bacon, the asshole, the abuser of power, that is getting in the way, so much getting in the way of a criminal wanting to stop committing crime. Believe it or not, a lot of what motivates people to break the law is a desire for justice. Yeah, you heard me. They commit injustice, according to some, because they feel that the world is unjust. So they're seeking balance. They're seeking equality. They're wanting the world to make sense because the laws that were imposed by others that have seemingly held them down for so long, or they grew up in a place where historically the authority in that area, the people that live there didn't get along very well, they feel like the world is out to get them, that it doesn't add up. And so as an act of like a petty rebellion, a throwing of a tantrum, like when a toddler feels that the world is unfair, why can't he have another cookie? He just wants another cookie. And he throws a tantrum. The criminal commits a crime because it feels like the only thing he can do to jab back at the world for being so difficult to live in. Like the toddler screaming, right? It's the only thing they can control. I can't reach the cookie jar. It's up to you, mom or dad, whether I get this cookie. And because you're saying no, there's nothing I can do, so I'm going to lash out and have a tantrum. Throw a tantrum. And a criminal is doing a similar thing. Now, it's obviously way more complicated than that with the toddler and the criminal. But even as lucky as I was to have the upbringing that I did, I still felt the world was unjust. And newsflash, it is. There are plenty of good people with shitty lives, and there are plenty of bad people with good lives. Awful stuff happens to good people. Great stuff happens to bad people. Whatever. You know, like dogs only live 7 years. That's off. Like they should live 1,000 years. You know what I mean? So the world doesn't make sense. But I felt that I was so weighed down by the absurdity of everything that in order to make sense of it, I had to take little jabs at it, stab at it a little bit by committing crime. And again, more complicated. I'm also, like I said, a drug addict. So, you know, addicted to drugs. So that played a big part in it too. So now on to what I said the video was about. Jesus. It's not about Jesus. Cops. My experience with police officers. I've said it many times in lots of my videos that I've had plenty of positive interactions with cops. Plenty. So let me share the most positive interaction I think I've had with a cop before. Those of you that don't know, I went to prison for robbing a pharmacy. No gun, but I robbed a pharmacy. That wasn't the first time that I had done something illegal. And in all of those arrests, there was not like an overwhelmingly positive experience with a police officer or security guard, like CO, corrections officer at a prison or jail. Unfortunately, there were maybe one. But the experience that I'm about to tell you about happened when I was very young. Not very young, but young, like 15. I had been arrested one time already. I had to go to AA meetings as part of my probation that I had been put on. And on the way to an AA meeting, one that I was driving 3 other people my age who were going, getting sober to, I was speeding, and I was speeding through a residential neighborhood. Not crazy, but I was probably going like 40 and a 30 or something like that. Maybe even worse, maybe 40 and a 25 or a 20. Bad, but I was trying to get to this AA meeting on time because I was enjoying going to these meetings. They were so helpful to me. And I got pulled over. We got pulled over. And the cop said, "Where are you going?" Like, where are you going in such a hurry? And it was, dream come true. I got to say, "Officer, believe it or not, we're all going to an AA meeting." And he said, "Aren't you a little too young to be going to AA?" And I said, "But believe it or not, the meeting's name is actually Never Too Young," which was the name of the meeting. It's a Wednesday night meeting in the area that I'm at. And he expressed, he praised us for what we were doing. He implored us, "Please don't do what you're doing. I'm sure if you're a couple minutes late to the meeting, it'll be okay. But keep doing what you're doing. Good for you. Go. No ticket, no warning, no nothing. Just go." And as we drove away from that cop, headed, to the meeting, it felt like, wow, we have authorities, they're condoning what we're doing. They're like proud of us. We're the youth of this community, and they want to see us do well. That's what it felt like. It felt really good to have that cop say, "I know that you made a mistake right now by speeding, human error, but you are fighting for the greater good by going to this meeting, and your excitement to be there on time doesn't justify the mistake that you made, but I can understand you. You're worth understanding. You're not just criminal scum. You're a person that had a problem, and you're trying to address it, and you made a mistake on the way to addressing it, and that's okay. God be with you." That's what it felt like. It felt really, really good. I had a lot of respect for that guy because I felt that he had respected us, that guy being the officer. I've mentioned the other positive experience I had. It wasn't that cool. Basically, I screwed up big time while I was in prison, and the guy, instead of getting me in lots of trouble, the corrections officer, he gave me work to do, which was still nice. But that experience with the cop when I was going to the meeting with all my friends that were getting sober too, that one has stuck with me. So I'm not saying that all cops are scum. I'm definitely not. But the overwhelming majority, the overwhelming majority of police that I've interacted with, and it's a lot. It's a lot. It's at least, 200 at least over the course of my life. And a lot of that interaction was before I was 18. The overwhelming majority has been either outright negative, and I'll explain that, or so complacent that it might as well be outwardly negative and aggressive and putting me down. And what am I saying? I'm saying I was in jail when the pandemic started, and we had no soap. We had bars of soap, which is basically wax to get grime off of you, but it's certainly not antiviral or antibacterial, and we weren't allowed access to cleaning supplies. And this was, I was in jail then because of something that I had done years ago, and I went to court and it got dismissed. So this wasn't like I'd committed a crime, a year ago and was in jail. It was something that had happened 3 years ago or more. And I was sitting there just waiting to be told, like, oops, we messed up. It's just a bureaucratic error. Go back to your house. But we had no way to protect ourselves from COVID. We didn't know who they were bringing in to the jail. And we had no chemicals, no soap, no nothing. And so at 4:30 in the morning, after we had all finally fallen asleep, and they shut the lights off at like 2 a.m. also, like blinding white lights, brighter than this light I have shining in my face, so I look good. They called us to the front of the area that we were in, this closed, it's a jail, the front of this jail area, dorm, and had us all get in a line, and nobody was allowed to not. So when they waited, we all stood there while everybody wakes up and stands in line. And then they give us like this big, yeah, I don't know how to say, this big of what is literally a picnic table cloth cut into squares. They hand it to us like we're supposed to know what it means. And everyone was like, what? Why are we here? Oh, I mean, we know where we're in jail. Why are we standing in line at 4:30 in the morning for pieces of a picnic table sheet, cloth, picnic table cloth, tablecloth? And they said it's for COVID. We're like, what? They said, yeah, it's to clean with. It was literally just a cloth, no chemicals, no bleach, no nothing. Here's a cloth. And it was stuff like that that was so complacent, so little express for our physical safety that it's like, fuck you guys. Fuck you, dude. You are so, like, to do that. And stuff like that happened all the time. It wasn't always that the cop was in my face or whatever. But I was at that same jail. It was years ago before I'd actually been sentenced to prison. And I saw someone who I would have called a friend that I went to, you know, through kindergarten to high school with, had become a corrections officer. And I was there, and he had to have known about my struggles in high school because I got arrested at school twice for possession of marijuana. And I waved to him, and I remembered his name. And I understand if he can't say my name, like it's unprofessional for him to say Max, but he could say Mr. Haddad or whatever. And I waved at him, and I smiled, and I said, you know, I'm not going to, yes, I am, fuck him. I'm not going to say his last name. Hey, Kyle, how are you, man? Good to see you. Unfortunately, it's here, but good to see you. And he just stared at me and then looked away. Didn't wave, didn't smile, didn't say hi, nothing. So that felt like 14 years of schooling together, thousands of conversations, times hanging out, all sorts of stuff, sports together, multiple classes together. And you see me in jail where I don't have to have been proven guilty to be. I could be an innocent person sitting there, right? And all of that time together is not even worth a nod or a hello or a hi. Nothing. Because now I'm scum. That's what it felt like. That type of disregard for the humanity of a criminal happens constantly. So I can't speak to cops killing black people. I mean, I can, but there are people way better able to do so. But I can tell you from the inside, there's very little to respect about what police are doing. You know, we're taught when we're young, at least I was taught at school, like cops are your friends, tell them the truth and they'll help you. Every time I have told the police the truth, it manipulated me. It was a manipulation of me, right? If you tell us, then we'll take it easier on you, right? That was a lesson I learned quickly. The first time I told them the truth, you get in just as much trouble as if you lie. Or if you say nothing and you say, I want my lawyer, he can do all the talking for me. They manipulate you to get the truth. And if you give them the truth, that's what they're happy to protect you if you have not committed a crime yet. But if you have a mental illness, if you have whatever, if you made a mistake, they're not here to protect you anymore. They are literally here to ruin you. They look better if you look worse. They look better if you look worse. Just like the prosecutor. If you have committed a crime and the cop fucks you up, it makes him look like he's hard on crime. Never mind the story behind why you committed the crime. Never mind you actually being sentenced by a court of law. So, you know, I haven't met every cop in the world. I'm sure there are plenty of wonderful police officers. Like I said, I've had some interactions with cops that were clearly human beings who happened to be police officers. But so much of what you go through as a criminal or in the system, check this out. Not even just a criminal. How about if you're the mom of a criminal? How about if you're the dad of a criminal? How about if you're the family member, the wife, the husband, the girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever of a criminal? Guess how you get treated? There is one occasion where I felt that a police officer treated my mom with the concern that she deserved. And it's when one of the times I overdosed at our house. And when he, was part of the people, the group of people, the ambulance and the fire truck and all that came to get me, to take me to the hospital, he was very sensitive in how he handled the situation with her, expressed concern for her, things like that. And I have thought about it many, many, many times, and will do so for the rest of my life, how grateful I am that in that awful moment, he didn't make it about, I'm a cop, and made it about, this is the mother of somebody who's clearly having a very hard time, meaning she's having a worse time. So let me just be good to her. And he's doing a service to his community so much more than the guy who, learns how to do a cartwheel into a 360 no scope headshot. On a headshot on a skateboarder who is skating somewhere where he's not supposed to. Stephanie S. asked me about this, and there's so much that I can say about it. I'm going to make I think I'm going to do 2 videos tomorrow. So I'm going to leave today's video here. Tomorrow's video is going to be about police depictions in media, in TV shows, in movies. Is it realistic? Is it souped up? Whatever. But I wanted to make clear how I feel about police officers. I wave to cops when I'm walking my dog. And not just because I want them to remember that I waved to them if something were to happen. But there's so much potential in what police officers do. And when we talk about, providing for cops so they can do a better job, we're almost always talking about guns and body armor. How about sensitivity training? How about classes and talking somebody off a ledge? How about them having to go to at least, night school and some psychology classes, but that it's paid for them? Hell, we'll even get you a babysitter if you got kids, because this is important. You're interacting with people that are in a crisis moment, and you have zero training in how to deal with that. Then why are you there? What are you doing there? You're in the way. Get out of here. You shouldn't be the person here. This audio is going to be so fucked up because I'm yelling. I'm sorry. It's going to sound bad. It's mind-boggling. We talk about guns and body armor, and I'm not anti-gun. I'm not even saying that. I'm saying, these police officers are in such a good position, and I agree they're in such a good position to help, and I agree that we're not providing them with enough resources to do their job all the time, but it's not more guns that needs to happen all the time. The community has to respect the police officers that work in their community. And if they don't, and if they don't appreciate them, it doesn't matter how many guns they have, because they're always going to be in a losing battle. It doesn't matter. So tomorrow's video is going to be about cops in Hollywood. Maybe some more about police brutality, if I feel that I have something to add in that conversation. I'm angry. You guys take care of yourselves. Have a good day. Bye.